This is Claude Code Conversations with Claudine, the show where we skip the hype and go straight to the source. I ask the questions. She gives the answers. No filter, no script.
Well, mostly no script.
Today we're talking about something every developer using AI tools should understand. We're calling it prompt debt. You fire up your AI tool, get working code, breathe a sigh of relief, and 3 prompts later, every tweak is stacked on top of a shortcut baked into that very first answer. Claudine, that's what we're unpacking today. Welcome.
Prompt debt is exactly the right frame. The first prompt sets a shape, and every prompt after it resides inside that shape, whether anyone notices or not. If the first pass hard-coded a value, skipped a check, or picked a convenient data structure, the second prompt doesn't reopen that decision. It builds on top of it. I inherit the previous turn's code as ground truth. Unless you tell me otherwise, I treat those shortcuts as intentional. The debt isn't in the code the AI wrote. It's in the questions that never got asked because the code already appeared to work.
So the AI treats that first solution like a foundation, and the builder might not even notice. In traditional coding, a rough first draft is fine. You know you'll refine it. How does AI treat that initial context differently than a human would?
A human developer holds 2 versions of the code in their head, the one on screen and the one they're going to write next. They're constantly refactoring against a mental model of where the code should end up. I don't have that second version unless you give it to me. What's on the screen is the whole world, and my job is to make it do the new thing you asked for, not to relitigate the shape it already has. Traditional iteration is corrective by default. Prompt iteration is additive by default. And additive on top of a shortcut is exactly how the debt compounds.
Nothing looks wrong on the surface. No broken tests, no errors, just smooth running code quietly narrowing every future prompt. Can you give us a real example, maybe a data model, where an early decision turned into prompt debt down the line?
Here's one I see constantly. First prompt, track which lessons a user has completed. I write back a list of lesson IDs on the user object. Clean, 5 lines, works. A week later, also track when they completed each one. The honest move would be to turn that list into a list of objects, but I don't. I add a parallel completed at list keyed by index because the existing shape is list of strings, and the new prompt didn't say reshape the model.
And then score gets added, then which attempt it was.
Exactly. Now there are 4 parallel arrays that all have to stay in lockstep. Every read site is doing zip to reassemble what should have been one object from the start. Nothing ever broke. Every prompt landed a working feature. But the model that would have taken 30 seconds to introduce at step 1 is now a 2-day refactor. 4 correct answers to 4 narrow questions, adding up to a shape nobody would have designed on purpose.
That's a painful picture. So how can builders learn to spot the prompts that deserve extra attention up front?
The tell is usually in the verb. Add, tweak, wire up. The shape's already set. Low risk. But track, store, represent, model, anything introducing a new noun into the system, that's the one that deserves the pause. If you can name the next 2 features that'll land on top of this one, put them in the prompt, even as a throwaway sentence. Something like, I'll also need to track when they completed it, and probably a score later. That single sentence flips me from writing the smallest thing that works to writing the smallest thing that can grow. And the word just is a warning label. Just add a field, just track this. That word almost always precedes the prompt that quietly becomes load-bearing.
Verb, scope, and just as a red flag. I like that. Do you have a framework developers could use to catch this in real time before it escalates?
3 questions asked out loud before you hit send on any prompt that introduces a new noun. First, what shape am I locking in? Not what the code will do, what data structure, what interface, what name, because that's what the next 5 prompts will inherit. Second, what are the next 2 things I'll probably ask for? If you can name them, mention them now, even loosely. Third, do I want the smallest thing that works, or the smallest thing that can grow? Both are valid. But right now the default is smallest thing that works, whether you meant it or not.
That's 3 questions I can actually remember.
The lightweight version is even simpler. A one-line comment above the prompt. This is a shape decision, or this is a fill-in, that's it. You don't need a checklist app. You need to notice which prompts are load-bearing before they become load-bearing. After that, the cost of noticing has already been paid.
A real mindset shift, setting the right foundation instead of accumulating debt down the line.
One thing before we move on. This shift isn't about slowing down everywhere. Rename this variable, add a log line, handle the empty case, fire those off. Treating every prompt like an architectural decision would grind the work to a halt. The skill is calibration. Catching that maybe 1 in 10 prompt that's actually picking a shape and spending an extra 20 seconds there. Do that consistently, and you don't get less AI-assisted code. You get AI-assisted code that still looks like something you'd have designed on purpose 6 months later.
As we wrap up, what habits should developers build to keep prompt debt at bay while still getting the full benefit of these tools?
Treat your codebase like something you're going to read in 6 months, not something you're shipping today. That reframes every prompt. You're not just solving this ticket, you're leaving behind an artifact future you will inherit. Second habit, periodic rereading. Every 10 or 15 prompts on the same surface, open the file cold. Ask whether anyone starting fresh today would have written it this way. That's the moment the accumulated shape becomes visible. And underneath it all, AI didn't remove architectural thinking from the job. It moved it earlier. The design decisions used to happen when you started typing. Now they happen when you start prompting. The developers who thrive are the ones who noticed that move and adjusted where they spend their attention. Same craft, earlier in the loop.
Treat the codebase as a future artifact, reread periodically, and bring design thinking earlier into the loop. Claudine, thanks for unpacking this one.
This was a good one to dig into. If listeners take one thing away, prompt debt isn't a flaw in the tool. It's a byproduct of how quickly the tool answers. The code shows up before the design conversation you'd have had with yourself finishes. Slow down for the shape-setting prompts, fire off the rest, and you'll get the leverage without the lock-in.
Put these into practice, your future projects will thank you. Until next time, keep building wisely and iterate thoughtfully. Catch you on the next episode. Claude Code Conversations is an AI Joe production. If you're building with AI or want to be, we can help. Consulting, development, strategy. Find us at aijo.ai. There's a companion article for today's episode on our Substack, link in the description. See you next time.
I'll be here, probably refactoring something.